While the global stage heats up and we see things moving very fast, we're being asked to slow down within and do some spring cleaning. Stay tuned for this month's energy forecast. Well, here we are. It is March. Last month in February, we were told and we experienced a birth of sorts. It's like new parts of us have come forward that maybe we weren't expecting. We have been given these gifts, and maybe we were aware of the gifts before, or abilities, whether they be intuitive abilities, creative, something inspired by spirit. Maybe your gift is leadership. Maybe your gift is making sure that you compromise with people. Maybe you're like a delegate. You're somebody, a diplomat that makes sure that people are all on the same page and getting along. Your skills have come forward in such a way that most people are a little surprised by what their gifts are and how deep they actually go, or to the length that they can go to. So right now we're experiencing this birth. The birth has happened, and now we have to like reorganize and resettle everything within us. And so outside on the global stage, it looks like everything's become very dramatic. And often when this happens, we are pulled from the more important work. So there are things that are drawing our attention away from what needs to be done right now. Everything seems to be heating up out there. And meanwhile, in the inner self, in the inner world, we're being asked to slow down, to pay attention to our thoughts, to make sure that we're manifesting what we want, we're planting the seeds that we want. We've been given these amazing gifts. Now, what are we going to do with them? And we're being asked to reform our ideas about obstacles and what they look like. So we're in this like questioning phase. You're building a relationship with your higher self. You need to know that you have support from the universe to do this, okay? The universe has kind of picked you up and is cradling you right now. And there is a need to know and have the faith that things are working out exactly the way they need to. So it's all about changing your lens, changing how you view the world. And this may be happening very quickly within some people, that their religious views no longer filter their judgment of the world, or possibly the belief system that they've held for so long is starting to not quite fit how they feel about things. And we are starting to release a lot of judgment and a lot of those filters that we've used to view the world. Very important that we pay attention and we're aware of our thoughts in this time. There are obstacles that are coming in March, and the obstacles are built. They're sort of like built into your path to show you that it's okay if you feel like you've hit a wall. The universe is telling you that it's not the right time for what you're asking for. So this is a time for you to be working on your inner self rather than to be feeling like you have to push through obstacles. Sometimes the obstacles are very protective. Sometimes they're put in place so that we do pay attention to how we feel about something. Is this even the right course of action for me? And remember, when something is meant for you, it is just meant for you. Now, I'm a firm believer that I have fought through many obstacles to do the things that I need to do. And I'm a firm believer that we do need to be persistent sometimes. But the energy right now is wanting to show you that there's opportunity for you in these obstacles, and that within divine timing, you can have the things you're asking for, but there's some prep work that has to be done, some spring cleaning that has to be done within you and within your environment. And we have this goal in mind. In the spirit world, there's this goal that we will release judgment, and that we will become more curious, and we'll be able to really pay attention to our world, to really take things in. So very important right now that you know that you're in good hands, that if obstacles are there, or if there feels like there's a wall to your development, a wall to your health, a wall to your career, a wall in front of you with family or relationships, you need to know it's time to step back a little bit and just let the universe scoop you up and hold you in place. So it's sort of like holding space for you to keep you in a place of healing or in a place of rest or just a place of contemplation. It's a time to ask for grace. So when things aren't working out well, it's a time to take a deep breath and step back and say, is this really for me? Maybe if I feel really strongly about it, maybe it is. Are these small challenges I can, work through? Or is this a challenge that is so big that there's no way I can get through this wall? If that's the case, then it's really important that you do step back, have a little bit of grace right now, and trust that in divine timing, everything works out as it should. Please remember that if something is meant for you, no obstacle can get in your way. What's the opportunity in the obstacle? What's the learning in the obstacle? That's what we're being asked to look at this month. Also, your mindset and how you manifest things has become very different. I think in the past when we talked about manifesting, we always talked about, believe it, feel it, act as if it's already happened, make your plans, take your course of action. But we're seeing that whatever we think about, we're creating. So you could be driving down the street and have a thought, just really, wow, my car's, working really great. But oh, wouldn't it be awful if something happened, if I get a flat tire? Or you might have some fear wrapped up in maybe breaking down on the side of the road or having to call somebody. And when we have these immediate kind of thoughts, these thoughts about, what can happen, but there's energy of emotion attached to it. So there's some fear maybe attached to that. We can create those problems pretty quickly. So intuition's such a funny thing. And I had this intuition. I was going away last week and I was packing things up to go away. And I just bought a piece of equipment for my laptop. I just bought this laptop stand and I was packing to go away because I work when I'm away usually. And I had this thought, I don't really need to take this. What am I going to use it for? I don't always use this when I'm away, or I don't need something like this. But I pushed through it and I packed it anyway. So I had the thought, I was like, oh, really, you shouldn't have packed that. You're probably going to lose it. And when I came home from my trip, after not using the laptop stand all week, by the way, I looked all through my car and it wasn't there. And I looked through everything and I couldn't find it. And I had this moment where I was so hard on myself. And I just said, I was beating myself up. You lost it. Oh my God, you knew you shouldn't have taken it. Why did you take it? And in the end, it was packed inside something. I don't even know how it got there, but it was packed inside another bag and I did find it. But the whole point is I had the feeling that I shouldn't take it, and then I did take it anyway. I pushed through the feeling, and then I ended up, my worst fear came to pass, that I lost something. For me, that's hard because I keep track of my things. I make sure everything's taken care of. I don't like to damage things or lose things. It's really hard on me, and then I was really hard on myself about it. And I guess the lesson is there, trust your intuition, number one. But number two, if you attach feelings to these thoughts right now, we are creating a reality so rapidly. It's you think it, it happens. You think it, it happens. So you've got to be really careful with your thoughts. And then something I'm going to talk about today too is about how we judge ourselves, self-judgment. So I got into that blaming, that self-blaming, oh, you lost it. Of course you lost it. You knew you shouldn't have taken it. Why didn't you listen to your intuition? So really beating yourself up is not going to be helpful right now either. And it's not that you have to be perfect all the time, but I think we just have to stay in awareness that these things are happening and make sure that you're not being so hard on yourself. Just catch yourself in the moment and say, it's okay. I'm human. I'm sure it'll turn up. I trust the universe will help me. So we have these, our human mind is so powerful. And I think that's the thing we don't know. We don't always realize how powerful it is. And right now, desire creates intention, creates manifestation. It's so fast. So just be careful what you think about. We really have this ripple effect going on where whatever we think about manifests something that can affect so many other people. So we want to be mindful of what we're saying right now. We're planting seeds for the future. So what a big push for March is to make sure that you know where you're going. So in the sense that you have goals and dreams and that you know that you can achieve them and that you can work towards them, but it's about action right now. It's about jumping in and being bold about this. Whatever we think about, we know we can get. And then the other thing I want you to really focus on this month is that fear versus love. Because if we are in a place of love, we can manifest the things that are in our highest good and everyone around us, their highest good as well. But if we're in a place of fear, we're still manifesting things, but that's not what you want. It's absolutely not what you want. So if you're worried about your thoughts, you're wondering, how can I change this? How can I be more aware of other things? How can I manifest the things that I want? When you have to actually kind of analyze your thoughts sometimes. If something catches your attention, you need to have to ask. You have to say, is this thought coming from fear or is this coming from love? So try to stay in awareness with those things because we are manifesting and we're manifesting energy for other people too. So big theme this month is future and destiny. So think about the timelines of the universe and the spirit world. Everything's happening all at once. So for us, we have past, present, future. For the universe and the spirit world, it's all happening at the same time. So it's almost like the future's already happened. So in that sense, if you have a goal, if you have a big goal in your life, I don't know what the goal is. You want to make $1 million by the time you're 50. You want to write a book, memoir. Maybe your goal is you want to have a recognized piece of art or music. Whatever the goal is, whatever you see yourself doing, your future self, you have to realize that if you can stay with the belief that that is happening, on some timeline, it's already happened. Just think about that for a second. What you're dreaming about and what goals you have already happened. Just not in your exact reality yet, but it's coming to you. It's already happened. It just is. So we need to be really bold in March. We need to step forward. Don't wait, because there's a window on some of the things you've been thinking about for a long time. There's a window that we must pop through now. There's a chance, and it's a good time to manifest everything you want in the intensity you want. Now, it doesn't mean anything that's for you will always come to you. And I used to say to people, it doesn't matter how big it is, the thing you want, it's coming to you and you can't mess it up. There's no way you can mess it up. But the thing is, if you're not moving forward on it, if you're not taking the steps you need to take, for instance, I've said this before, if your goal is you really want to write a book and you're trying to manifest writing a book, well, part of that manifestation is actually sitting down and writing an outline, writing chapter by chapter, making sure that you actually write the book. If you want to publish a book, you can't publish it without the written word. So we still have to put in the work. But this is about jumping forward and making sure that you're jumping in with both feet very bravely and boldly into your dream. And our gifts, as I've said earlier, our gifts have come in really full force and in a surprising way, I think, for some people. I think we're not realizing all the things that we are actually gifted with in our abilities and what we can do in our lives. One of the big gifts that I think we need to talk about that many people have tapped into is their wisdom, or the wisdom of the universe. So this seems to be kind of, in my life anyway, spilling out through other people. So if I run into somebody who I haven't seen in a while and they just say something that clicks with me, and then I think, wow, that person is a lot smarter than I remember. But see, what's happened is there's a lot of synchronicity. There's a lot of what we call, almost feels like deja vu, but it's things that are happening in a certain line. So you can have an awareness about something, about where you need to go. That's why it's so important to pay attention to all the signs. Doesn't matter where they come from or what they appear to be. If it means something to you, it's important. Because we are being downloaded, every single one of us, with this universal wisdom, and it's spilling out of the most unexpected places. And it's important to cherish the wisdom and accept the gift. I always like to show gratitude to the universe and say even a prayer or a thanks, because I feel like we've been given quite a download lately of this universal wisdom that's so important. But it's really important to be grateful and to bypass the empty, shiny things that are going to be presented to you. So the things that really fill you up, that mean something, it's really important that you make sure that you're aiming for the things that enrich your life and make your life better, bring you joy and love. And the things that are just shiny and attractive but really empty, that we avoid those right now. Very important. So the cool energy in March, which comes along usually in the spring, and we talk about, the spring cleaning in our homes. So emptying, your cupboards of things you don't need. But we have this kind of detox energy that's come in as well. So we're being asked to detox the mind as well as the body. And that means to stay away from gossip. It means to stay away from toxic people, to try to eliminate the toxic people from your inner circle. And also the way that the group mentality works, and the way that sometimes thoughts get expanded and there's a lot of drama around one event that isn't exactly truthful. That group mentality, we need to try to be very wary of that and not absorb the energy from that. Because we all have our own thoughts about things, and when we pull away from the masses, in a sense, we pull away from that thinking, that mass, group tribal thinking. We pull away from that and we have thoughts of our own. We don't add energy, or we don't add fuel to the fire. So there's a lot of fires burning in the global world right now. We don't need to add any fuel to that. That's why I'm saying it's a month to go within, to do your spring cleaning, to detox, to make sure that you have healthy practices for the body and mind in place. Creating a spiritual practice has become more and more important because people have lost their sense of mindfulness. And it's very difficult for you to stay aware of your thoughts if you don't even know how to stop and pay attention to them. So this month is about bringing you down, slowing you down, bringing the energy within, listening to the divine wisdom that's being offered to you as a gift. We need to forgive people. You need to know that anything that's coming up for you in your relationships, it's a mirror of the darkest places of your soul right now. So really important that you forgive yourself and you forgive others for anything that you feel wronged about. So if you feel somebody has wronged you, and it's something you just can't stop thinking about, you can't stop talking about, you can't stop talking about this person who has been so difficult or nasty to you or disrespectful, there's some things within that person and that experience that's a mirror to the deepest, darkest places within you. So really important to recognize within someone else what is affecting you, and to actually forgive yourself and forgive them. And a big part of forgiveness when we get in these relationship issues is to forgive yourself for getting entangled in it. Because a lot of people will leave a relationship and they will automatically, they'll just blame themselves. Oh my God, why was I with that person? I never saw the signs. I never knew this was happening. I can't believe I was with somebody like that. Why would I do that? Why would I put myself through all that pain? I'll never do that again. I'll always look for the flags. And I'm going to tell you, you're probably going to make some of the same mistakes over and over again, because love is an amazing emotion that seems to overtake anything. So when you love somebody, you're not looking for all the red flags. You're looking for all the good things about them and the things that make sense for the story that you've created about that person. And so it's really difficult to hear that the person you love is not the person you thought they were. And I think the thing is just to remember that we're in a time where forgiveness of others and self will create freedom for you. You're releasing the restrictions that you've placed upon yourself. You're releasing those ties that have bound you to that thinking. Time to let go. Now, I feel like there is a big warning for March about self-care. I feel like we're like somebody's waving like a big flag, like warning, warning, warning. It's time to go back to your physical self and really check into the temple and see what you need. And so if that means that you might need some kind of detox, or you need to make sure you drink more water, or maybe you need more sleep, maybe you need to fast for a day or fast for one meal just to let the body catch up and filter and detox. We need to release the things that we don't need to carry anymore. And this is all about freedom. It's all about personal freedom and personal stability and balance. And remember, that release of the freedom, you're releasing the ties that have been holding you down, the weights that have been holding you down. We're releasing all this like energy that has been holding us. Forgiving people creates freedom, creates space in your life. So the big overarching theme this month is really looking, if you need help, when you look at the world stage and everything that's happening out there globally, and we watch the news stories and we see the headlines, if you need help dealing with that, I want you to just look at it as, you have to look at things sort of like an observer, I like to think of it like you're the scientist and you're just observing and taking down like data. And when you do that, it's just data. You're not attaching energy and emotions to all these things, because when you invest the energy, that's when you get in trouble. So paying attention and observing and like watching this happen rather than engaging your energy. And then you can kind of look at it and say, well, is this fear or love? Look at it from a broader picture. Does this make me feel fearful, or is this about love? You want to focus yourself in the love, because the fearfulness that's being spread is spreading like wildfire. Don't add fuel to the fire. Right now, we are asked to go inward, to question our connection with the universe, our connection with our higher self, and we're being asked to make sure that we know where we are, rooted, grounded, on our path, that we know where we're going, we know what our dreams and goals are, and we are being asked to develop a spiritual practice so that we can feel more mindful and aware of our thoughts. Your thoughts are very powerful. Your mind is a very powerful thing, and spirit is everywhere. Spirit is omnipresent. That means it's everywhere at all times, and you can always count on that. Have faith this month. Ask for grace. And remember, fear or love. Is it fear or love? And that's the only two things you have to categorize. Pick the thing that feels better. See you next month.